Good day, my disciples. This is Guru Mike, the guru of professional wrestling, your spiritual guide to all things that are in wrestling, life, and entertainment. Today's episode, we will be looking at the WWE Roadblock pay-per-view recap. This is my first WWE pay-per-view recap, and we are ready to get started. And remember, the Guru is your source for positive and practical wrestling reviews. And I have a few guidelines in which that I go by in looking at these matches that is presented here. It's a little bit different than a lot of other podcasts that are out there. But this is the Guru's Guide to Review. Ask 5 questions about each match. Does the wrestlers tell me a story in the ring? My first requirement in each match. Set number 2. Is the story they tell me believable? Number 3. Am I and the audience entertained throughout the entire match? Number 4. Does the conclusion of the match want me to watch the match again, or watch more wrestling, or watch these two guys or women wrestle again? And number 5, how does this match other the character of each of the wrestlers involved? Does it develop them? Does their story go forward? The first match I want to discuss is on the pre-show. A lot of times the pre-show is not discussed, but I think its work is noteworthy because it's Rusev and Cass. It was a nice match to open the show. There was good chemistry between Cass and his wrestler manager Enzo, and Rusev versus Rusev and his wife Lana. The story continued. The story was a continuation. And this phase of the storyline was Cass was avenging Enzo after he had been ambushed by Rusev and is set up by Lana, Rusev's wife, in her hotel room. Lana took offense to seeing Enzo naked in the backstage after Cass had pulled a prank on him and locked him outside of the locker room. And so Lana seduced Enzo to go to her hotel room, and little did Enzo know that Rusev was there, and he got ambushed, and Rusev just beat the hell out of him. First, I want to say that though this story has some comedy elements, I really do not think that this story really is in the PG or in the era that we're in today in wrestling. Though these storylines are fine for adults, you have to remember that the WWE now is a publicly traded company, so they have an image that they have to protect. So in this era, with the ratings going down and things of this nature, trying to appeal to kids and trying to get those parents to buy merchandise for Christmas, I don't think that this was a very well-timed storyline. Perhaps this story was a modest attempt to capture some of the Attitude Era hype. Maybe this was Vince's attempt to have some real life storylines into injecting them again into Raw. Just have a little bit of comedic flair to it. However, this story walks a fine line of parents having to explain to their children certain topics, which the parents are just wanting to bring their kids to an event or to watch a pay-per-view and be entertained to it by wrestling. So the WWE really has to be careful in this age to have storylines down this line. As far as some of the promo work that went on here, Enzo did a great job, as usual, on the mic. I want to note here that I would like to see the WWE bring back more wrestler/manager gimmicks that has these great mic skills with potential to help potential megastars that they want to push. But these stars really don't have the mic skill charisma that they need, so they need these other guys. And also, this would open the door for more people to get involved into the wrestling business again. I miss managers in wrestling. That's sort of what my goal, what I want to get really into, besides the podcast and being a personality. I really want to get into the manager side of wrestling. I think it's great. I think it's a missing element, because people that can talk can fill the seats and can get that, and can get the face over, or can get the heel over, and makes for a great storyline. It's part of wrestling. It's part of what the wrestling that I grew up with, and that I would like to see back today. This match, the purpose of this match, this between Cass and Rusev, was to build up Cass further, to get him more over with the crowd in the WWE universe, while still trying to get Rusev, or still trying to make Rusev remain strong as a strong heel. This match did a very good job in achieving these goals. There was a good in-ring sequence between Rusev and Cass, where Cass got a good crowd pop. Crowd loves him. Actually, Cass got more over that night during Roadblock than the WWE's top babyface on Raw, which we'll discuss that a little bit later. But Rusev remained strong, winning the match via countout. Cass got over with the crowd. The match achieved its goal. The story really doesn't help Rusev that much, but as long as he remains as a strong heel, it's fine. It's fine to do things like this. It gives him something to do, and it also makes Cass become stronger, which I hope in 2017 we finally see Cass and Enzo win those tag team championships. We see Enzo become into more of that manager role after that, and we see Cass become the United States Championship when they're ready to move him into singles competition. For this point, I really believe also that it would be great if the WWE, and I know that they're probably not going to do this, but that if the WWE had that lower mid-card belt, say the WWE Universal Network Championship, the WWE Television Championship on Raw. SmackDown really doesn't need one because they have a small roster as it is. But for Raw, it would be great, and it would give these guys not only for a feud between each other, not only these personalities clashing, but it would make the stakes be higher, and it would be great. And also, it would be great to make stars. That's the reason why I think one of the greatest championships that the WCW had was the television championship. I really think they underutilized it in the latter years of the company, but it was really great during its heyday to get guys over with the crowd. Also, on the pre-show, I want to bring up, and I missed Jerry the King Lawler on the pre-show. I'm not going to knock anybody in the podcasting field, but the guy that they had there really just didn't really fit in with the whole dynamic there. They need we want to hear, as crowds tuning in on the pre-show, we want to hear legends' opinions about about what these guys are doing in the ring like Booker T. Booker T is great, but still there was way too much talking in the pre-show. I think that instead of all of this talking that they did, they had an hour there. They could have threw in a couple of more matches, little short matches. We could have had a six-man cruiserweight title bout. We could have had a Jack Gallagher match, or even both of those. I mean, I can't get enough of Jack Gallagher, and he is a moneymaker. He's a star. He is a personality which needs to be showcased on 205 Live. And a six-man tag match in things. If I would love another, no, WWE is not going to do this, but I would love for there to make for the WWE to bring back the old WCW or the WCCW six-man tag match championship. Those matches was wild. They were unpredictable. You didn't know what was going to happen, and they got the crowd involved. And that is exactly what the WWE is missing, is getting that crowd pumped and getting them involved. There wouldn't be so much ups and downs, but they would be ready for the main pay-per-view if you had these different matches. And also it would showcase 205 Live, take the reins off, and let these guys that's in the cruiserweights be cruiserweights like they were, what people loved in their cruiserweight classic that they had. So we come now to the Roadblock pay-per-view, the main show. First match that was showcased here was the Tag Team Championship match between the New Day and Sheamus and Cesaro. This was a good contest. It's a little bit confusing the way they have the New Day working, that they're borderline heels, but they're working as baby faces. I do believe this is just so that they can remain baby faces for merch sales, which is okay with me, but it's a very blurred line between exactly who are we supposed to be cheering for, who are we supposed to be booing, and I think it confuses the crowd. As I predicted, Cesaro and Sheamus come out with the win. It was a good match. It was a believable story that was told in the ring. They were entertaining highs and lows. Got good crowd reaction throughout the match. Cesaro at the end of the match, he faked a tag in to Sheamus. He come in, he ate Kofi Kingston's finisher, Trouble in Paradise, but Sheamus was a legal man, and Sheamus was able to bro kick Kofi and go for the win. It was a good story. Cesaro is so over right now in the WWE. He's only going to get more powerful. He is living up to the gimmick, and they're allowing him to live up to the gimmick as the Swiss Superman. I like the passion that the New Day showed in the ring, how trying to do anything they could to hold on to those titles. That those was the tag team titles. They loved those titles. They had held them for over 400 days. They had broke the record of demolition, and it was tough for them to relinquish those titles. There was a moment there was a pause there where you didn't know what the New Day was going to do, and I liked that. You didn't know whether they were Sheamus and Cesaro was standing there, and the New Day was holding the titles that they had just lost. You didn't know whether they was going to turn heel or they was going to give the titles. Well, it turns out that they relinquished the titles. Sheamus actually went up and ripped them away from him as Cesaro was thanking him and hugging him, and for the good competition, showing great sportsmanship, a great show. It was a great show between the New Day and Cesaro, and what they tried to be sportsmen with Sheamus. It was a good feel good moment that really shows sportsmanship, which I think is important to kids and sends a message to kids that sometimes you lose, but you can win by being the better person. But now we have a dynamic here of our tag team WWE tag team champions on Raw. We have one member of the tag team that we feel is going to be a heel in Sheamus, and we have one that is so over as a babyface in Cesaro. This dynamic is destined to implode, and we don't know how it's going to work. We don't know if the New Day now is going to chase the titles. As mentioned before, I hope that they get the club involved, because the club suffered through jobbing out to the New Day for over almost a year, and they deserve a title run. Maybe they'll win them win them at the Royal Rumble, which would be great, and have the club and the New Day at WrestleMania, which I think would be a great match for them to have. But overall, this was a pretty good match. Look forward to seeing exactly what they do with Cesaro. I would like to see him in the WWE Universe Championship hunt in 2017. Right, he's money internationally. He is underutilized at the moment in his singles run. But maybe the WWE, maybe Vince will see that he could use him as the WWE continues to brand build their product overseas. They already have a UK belt that's going to be introduced. I hope and look forward that they have actually a European belt, an EU belt for that for upcoming. Next match was Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. I was right in my prediction on this one also. I said Sami Zayn would last 10 minutes, but the stipulation of the match, which I failed to realize, is that the winner if he lasted 10 minutes, he would come away with the win. So this was a dynamic last 10 minutes, and he wins the match. The story here, Sami Zayn did a great job of selling. Strowman looked like the beast that he is. He destroyed Sami Zayn until we had Mick Foley come down with a towel. He was going to throw it in. The scene transcended to the outside of the ring, where it was a conflict between Sami Zayn not wanting Mick Foley to throw in the towel, throwing away the towel himself into the crowd. It was Braun Strowman telling him that he was going to destroy him, and then it goes forth that Braun Strowman miscued on some moves. He hit the ring post, he hit the ring apron, went through the side railing there, and it was amazing scene. And then he went into Sami Zayn hit the Halua kick, and then he had lasted 10 minutes. You know what? It's all well and good with the story that they was been given. But I remember listening to, and I'll give a shout out to Taz. That Taz said that he wanted Sami Zayn to become this back during the 1980s as Robert De Niro character, the taxi driver. And I don't know if I want to see the taxi driver, but what I would like to see is I would like Sami Zayn to become more Foley-esque in his WWE run. Now I know he has a never say die attitude. He has the underdog attitude, and that's great. But what we don't have on Raw is we don't have that hardcore-esque type character that will do whatever it takes. He's a baby face, but still, he had to survive. He had to do what he did. He had to do what he could do to survive. No, I don't want to see our WWE superstars anymore to have knockout bloodbaths. I don't want to see some of the junk going on in some of the independent scenes that is doing some of this the extreme hardcore stuff where it's causing people permanent injuries. That's not what I'm asking. We have to realize that's not what wrestling is. I still want it to have a tone of what wrestling is. But tables, ladders, no chair shots to the head to give concussions. But use a hammer, use a ball peen hammer, do something. Be that Mick Foley as Mankind, as Dude Love, as Cactus Jack. He never had to have the general manager to come down. I do believe this. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. He never had the general manager to come down and stop the match. We need this guy. They want the WWE. They were in a PG area. They need to have this type of hardcore character, and they can have it in Sami Zayn. And some of the promos that Mick Foley gave leading up to this pay-per-view, we was hoping that we was going to see that. Do whatever it takes. Do whatever it takes. You could have. I don't believe we want. I think that the WWE universe, there is that segment that wants that hardcore type stuff. Tables that wants that. If you still got some of it going, you would have your ECW chance. That's how much of an imprint ECW had on the wrestling industry, and we need that today in the wrestling world, and the WWE needs that. I would love to see the Hardcore Championship in some variation come back to the WWE, but we don't have the Hardcore Championship because we don't have a bunch of hardcore athletes that specialize in that now. Well, we need this sort of hardcore-esque type guy that's gonna go to that extreme to do whatever it takes. I'm not saying that Braun Strowman should have been pinned. That's what it's going to lead up to now Sami Zayn won. He was on the post-game show saying that he wants to pin him, that he could have pinned him. Don't want to see Braun Strowman pinned by Sami Zayn. They need to protect Braun Strowman. They need to protect that monster heel that they have there, and they know they need to protect that monster heel they have there. I don't want to see Sami Zayn pin him, but I want to see something come out in Sami Zayn, that character that makes me want to tune into him, that he stands out from the rest of the WWE roster. All right, now we're going to get into the next match with Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho. This was an amazing match. It brought forth two of the best wrestlers on the Raw roster. For Jericho, I'll say this, for Chris Jericho to be performing at this level at his age is phenomenal. This would have been the best match of the night if Sasha and Charlotte wouldn't have been on the card, but they were. I will give this match 4 stars. I don't quite want to give it 5 stars because the ending ruined the entire match. Again, we had a run-in by Kevin Owens. How many times have we seen this? A run-in by Kevin Owens that was supposedly helped Jericho to win, but Seth Rollins got the win. This should have began Seth Rollins' WrestleMania match. That if we're going to see this WrestleMania match with Triple H, the one that was supposed to be doing the run-in should have been Triple H. I do believe. We were left with the feeling of, well, what's going to be next? Is Jericho going to get involved in the main event? You know, this storyline's been going on for a long, and it's getting really old. There's no originality there. There are many ways for Jericho to win. Jericho should have won this match. They should have given him the win. Why I do feel that he needs the win is I'd like to see the U.S. title, even if it is made the Canadian Championship, on Chris Jericho. It's the one title he hasn't won, and he's going to be leaving. He's going to be leaving after WrestleMania to go tour with his band. So why not give him this win over Seth Rollins? Rollins still remains strong. There's many heel tactics that he could use, and as I said, run in by Kevin Owens, and it's just old. And it's an old story. There's no creativity there. There's no you're left with the storyline of these two up in the air. What are you going to do? Are you going to rehash? Are we going to hear? Are we going to see this story up until WrestleMania? Please don't have this story up until WrestleMania. Do something new. Do something that wants to cause me to tune in again, not the same old thing. That wants to cause me to watch this again, not the same old thing. And it's really a shame because both Chris Jericho and Seth Rollins put on one hell of a match. They gave it their best, but it's just the same old storyline that we've seen for months. Next match is the Cruiserweight Championship. This was a good match. There wasn't anything really spectacular that happened in this match. You want to see something different with the Cruiserweights. To me, I want to see something different. I want to see the Cruiserweights like the Cruiserweights were in the Cruiserweight Classic back when Triple H had the Cruiserweight Classic. That's what the Cruiserweights need to be. It ended with a double super kick from Swan and Perkins on Brian Kendrick, who was the participants in this match. This was a little bit, people didn't notice it, this was a little bit of a knock on the Young Bucks, because that is the Young Bucks signature move is the double super kick. Yeah, a little bit of knock from the WWE. Hey, we can have guys do this too since you didn't sign with us. But overall, this match was a little flat. The best thing about this match was after Rick Swann had won is and I predicted this one, Rick Swann will win this one also. That is the appearance of Neville at the end, and Neville turned heel. That was great. This is what we want. We want Neville. We don't want. I hope they don't reduce Neville to a mat wrestler, because that's not who Neville is. We want to see the flying super showtime of Neville. But hopefully, in the weeks to come, we'll see Neville go after that championship, and we will see some real Cruiserweight action, which all of us want to see. Cruiserweight Classic was popular, and that's the format they should go back to. Okay, I want to discuss the main event here. I know I will save the women's title match for the last recap topic, because the women's match was the main event on the card. It was the best match on the card. The crowd had no energy left for this match after the showcase of Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks. You could tell the crowd was out of it. They were exhausted. I would say that both Roman Reigns and Owens did their best to give their all in this match, to try to tell a story, but there was no crowd reaction hardly. One good two good points that happened that Owens did as a champion in this match, which was refreshing, is we saw again the trash talking Owens heel, which that's what sets him apart from that's his character, and we want to see that during a match where we can hear him trash talking his opponent. And also, as sometimes of the purest wrestling fan that I am, we saw a simple chin lock, and we used masterfully by Kevin Owens to stop the beast of Roman Reigns, to immobilize him. And we saw Roman Reigns sell. He did his best to sell that chin lock. He did a great job selling that chin lock. But even trying to mount his comeback, and I have never seen this in all of the wrestling that I have seen in my lifetime. I have never seen a face get no crowd response when he mounts his comeback from a chin lock or from a sleeper hold. There's always that crowd pop there, and there was nothing there. It was silent. The people were exhausted, and maybe I believe there would have been a different reaction if this match had been on before the Charlotte Flair Sasha Banks match. But it's not a knock to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns did his job. Both of the participants did their job in this match. The story, Owens took the match to the outside, which I liked, which I predicted would happen. He would take this match to the outside. I wish the result would have been like I predicted, because I think that it would have been better for the storyline going forward, that if Reigns would have won the Universal title, and maybe Owens getting it back at the Royal Rumble, and I wish that they would have. I wish they would have done that. I wish that Owens would have been that nasty jerk to where he goes up and they had a crowd, they had a parent and kid there, plant. They had paid him to be there. They had a sign, and Owens would have taken that sign and just ripped it up. And to be that guy, he would have got sudden. That would have turned the crowd completely against him. It would have been awesome. And that crowd pop at the end, where Roman Reigns would hold that kid in the championship, that would have been wonderful. But no, they didn't do that. They went down the predictable path again. Horrible writing. Storytelling was great in the match, but horrible ending. That you put your stars that's on Raw, your 4 stars in this position week in and week out. And the WWE needs to be ashamed of this. It's the same predictable storyline of Jericho interfering, Rollins coming down, everybody getting involved with one another. How many times can you tell this same story over and over again? I can't believe that Vince McMahon has allowed this storyline, the same regurgitated storyline, to be on every pay-per-view since Hell in a Cell, even before that, since Hell in a Cell. And so Jericho comes down, great match. Jericho comes down, he looks at Owens, he gives Owens a finisher, disqualification. Owens retains the championship. Owens realizes what Jericho did, and they all hug, and they're all buddy, and Jericho is best of buds again. And I guess it's been this, we're left to the it's been this storyline all along. And then Rollins comes down, and the mini Shield reunion destroys the Universal Champion and destroys Jericho. The story's old. It needs something new, some new element needs to be told there. It's not the fault of the wrestlers. It's not the fault of the entertainers. They are doing their best to give what they are given. It is what creative is giving them to create. You know what I want to see this is why the Universal title is the second most important title on Raw. The U.S. title has no importance at all, and relegated to no importance at all on Monday Night Raw. From Rusev building that championship up, it's been relegated to being disrespected because you don't like the face of it. It's been being disrespected where we can't even see the U.S. champion holding this U.S. championship by its face, where we can see that it's the U.S. championship. All we see is him hanging it over his back. It is disrespectful to the men that has held that title, from John Cena all the way to Magnum TA. It is disrespectful to them to make the U.S. championship just not important that way. Give the belt to Rusev back again. Give the belt. In other words, why don't you like I said, let Jericho win that belt. Give him a title. The title. Let him have that title. Let him lose that title. Let Rollins carry that title for a while. Do something with it where it's important again. But no, it's not. Just because you don't like the face of it, you relegate it that it's only important for one show, tribute to the troops, and that's it. It is a major title, and it should be respected. The same way with the Universal Championship. By Jericho interfering all these times, and I'm not knocking Jericho. Jericho is great. He is one of the major reasons to watch Monday Night Raw. But for him interfering, he has diluted the Universal Championship. Kevin Owens has been around for weeks sobbing because Jericho, his long lost friend, didn't like him anymore. That's not a champion. That's not a heel. A heel should care less who likes him. You are their friend because you want to be with them not with you. And that's the way it is for a heel. You're the heel. You're the man. You're the man. You say you're the man. This is the Kevin Owens show. No, it's not the Kevin Owens show. It's the Charlotte Flair show, because that is the most important title on Monday Night Raw, the Women's Championship. And I'm going to say that. I'll say that here again in a few minutes. So that was our main event. I have no idea where this is going. No idea where this is going. I don't know the storyline where this is going to. I don't know what they're going to do. The only one who knows what is going to happen is Vince McMahon. All the rest is just rumor and innuendos, because we have no idea what is going to be transpiring here in Monday Night, where the Universal title is held. Are they going to put it on Goldberg? Are they? What are they going to do? What are they going to do with the Universal title? Who's going to win the Royal Rumble? I do believe that a person from Raw will win the Royal Rumble. I hope it's Finn Balor or Samoa Joe or Shinsuke Nakamura. That's who I hope that it is. Those three. That's who I want to see. I don't want to see Goldberg win. He don't need the Royal Rumble. He don't need to be the winner of the Royal Rumble. Hopefully, Brock Lesnar will disqualify him, and one of those three guys will be the cause of Brock Lesnar getting out of the Royal Rumble. Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, or Shinsuke Nakamura. One of those three. I want to see, and there's a lot of people that want to see those three be involved in the main event for the Universal title at WrestleMania. Would love to see Finn Balor. Would love to see Samoa Joe. Would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura. That's star power. That is your future. That is your future. And let it be a championship where the champion is the champion. He is the man. He is the man. And I will say this. You didn't see the greatest wrestler of all time, Ric Flair. You didn't see in his major bouts, you didn't see the Four Horsemen coming down and interfering every match. You saw them interfering some. You saw them interfering some with Dusty Rhodes. You saw some of them interfering back in that time period. But when it come to the matches that we really remember, and we remember the Dusty Rhodes match, the Dusty finish, which is awesome. But we remember with Ricky Steamboat, with Harley Race, with Sting, these different ones. You didn't see the Four Horsemen coming down there every time. He was the man, and he defended the title in the ring. He might have used heel tactics to get them to win the title, to keep the title, but you knew when you stopped watching that pay-per-view, when you saw Ric Flair on TV, Ric Flair was the man. And you cannot say that about the Universal Championship, the supposedly main championship on Raw right now. That's all I'll say about that. Now I want to get to the main event, what I think should have been the main event of the evening. The Women's Championship. The Iron Man, and I'll term this the Iron Woman match. And I want to go over this. The WWE has 3 athletes that proves that they are the best in the world at what they do. AJ Styles, Charlotte Flair, and Sasha Banks. Then there's the rest of the roster. There's very few that are over. There's John Cena, there's The Undertaker, there's Brock Lesnar, there's Goldberg, there's Chris Jericho. 5 that we can say that are over with the crowd. I'm not talking about those legends that are still in the WWE. What I'm talking about is people that are up and coming, that have just joined the roster, just come up from NXT, that have been in it, that are trying to make a name for themselves. The only 3 is AJ Styles, Charlotte Flair, and Sasha Banks. Then there's the rest of the roster. This was the Women's Championship match, was the best match on the card at Roadblock. I give it a 6 out of 5 stars. It was that good. Critics say, and there are many podcasters that say, they can't stand, they're tired of seeing Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair feud. It's a story. It's all done. It's rewatched. But they are the top 2 stars on Raw and in the company. Nobody got tired of hearing Elvis sing. Nobody got tired of seeing Michael Jordan play basketball back during his peak. And right now we're seeing these 2 women at their peak. We can go and criticize this all we want to, but I do believe that people really don't realize what they're watching here. They're watching history take place. Charlotte Flair is the best heel in wrestling today. There is no one in wrestling that captures the emotion, passion, and crowd reaction that Charlotte does. She deserves an Oscar for her performance in the ring. She is just that damn good. Sasha Banks is just as good as her partner in telling a believable story in the ring. Something to make me interested, something to make me emotional about. It's not simply that they're women, it's just that they're athletes in this ring doing that are at their best, at their height. Both of these athletes deserve to be rewarded as the highest paid wrestlers in sports entertainment, right there with the other guys. The women deserve the same pay as the men. Why? Because they are putting butts in the seat. People want to see them. They are there. People tune in to see them. I give credit to the WWE, aka Vince McMahon, for making women equal with men in athletic entertainment. We have to realize that this is not simply a wrestling revolution for women, but the Sasha Charlotte feud transcends sports, entertainment, and society. We are looking at history here. Charlotte Flair is one of the top 5 women wrestlers of all time already, but will go down as the greatest women's champion of all time. She also will be in the top 10 of the greatest wrestlers ever to grace the square circle, only surpassed by her father, Hulk Hogan, and a couple of more legends. She is already a Hall of Famer, not only for the WWE, but for women's sports. And Sasha Banks should be in this conversation also. ESPN needs to get on this bandwagon. Charlotte should be a lock for Woman Athlete of the Year at the 2016 ESPYs. Yes, it's wrestling, but it's athletic. It's there. Sasha and Charlotte are doing things equal to men in the ring. They are transcending sports entertainment. If there is any match that is a measuring stick for wrestling today, it is the Charlotte and Sasha match at WWE Roadblock. This Iron Man match is a standard of this generation. It is equal to the Michaels Hart match at WrestleMania 12. To be honest, this match should not have only been the main event of the WWE Roadblock, but it should have been the main event. It should have led and been our main event at WrestleMania 33. They should have built the feud to end at WrestleMania by having Charlotte chase the championship. I recommend that this match to any young developmental wrestler wanting to understand storytelling in the ring. Either Sasha chasing the championship or Sasha chasing the championship or Charlotte chasing the championship. Either one of them would be fine. As a wrestling fan, you need to understand the greatness of what is happening here between these two wrestlers and the story that they're telling in the ring. I'm not going to describe this match in detail, simply because as a wrestling fan, you need to watch the heart and the struggle that both athletes do inside of the ring. You need to watch it. This match is why we love wrestling. This match is what drama fans want in their main event. Charlotte Flair is the Raw brand champion. She is the face of the company, and she should be treated as the queen. And that men's title, all it has been relegated to is a prop. And that's the truth. People's going to get mad. No, but come on, listen to this. That's the championship on Raw. That's the main championship on Raw. That's the reason why we tune in. These women are stealing the show, and they should be rewarded for stealing the show. They should have the main event at WrestleMania. These two said, "Oh, we're tired of it." No, we're not tired. There's a lot of people not tired of it. These two women ought to be showcased at WrestleMania, if not this year, next year. While barring any injuries of next year, I hope no injuries take place. But these two women need to have the main event. You can mix and you can match other women in there and the Royal Rumble or do these other stories, intertwine them somehow. But these two women are the women's division, even compared to what the Raw women are doing. And I think that the Raw women, what the SmackDown women are doing is great. I am glad that we have Alexa Bliss as a champion. She's great. She's a good heel, but she's not Charlotte. And maybe she'll get to that point. But they don't have the charisma that Charlotte Flair has. And I think a lot of that has to do because Charlotte Flair is Ric Flair's daughter. overall, on the Roadblock pay-per-view, I want to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. I would have given it more, but the two matches, the Universal Championship title match and the Jericho Rollins match, really diluted the entire pay-per-view with how poor the storytelling was. They made the entire pay-per-view a little stagnant. There needs to be more creative. Tell me a new story. Make me involved. And also put the matches where they need to be. People were exhausted in that Universal title match. There was no topping the Charlotte Flair Sasha Banks match. That was the match of the night. All right, my brothers and sisters. My opinions are real. I hope you enjoy them. I hope you become part of the Love Revolution. Follow me on Twitter. Real Guru Wrestle at twitter.com. Working on a website, trying to get this going, and hope to share this again with you. I hope you enjoyed the program. Until next time, peace, my brothers and sisters, and love one another. Less hate, more love. Peace.